Hi there, grade eights. Today we're going to be starting a new concept. So for 6.4, we're talking about the distributive process. So kind of what that means is based on this top drawing here that we have. Basically what it is we're saying 4 times 13, but we're breaking it down. So what are we actually doing? We're saying, well, it's the same as this area being 4 times 10, and this area being 4 times 3, and then adding them together. Right? So we have kind of two rectangles, and it's showing the two parts. So we're breaking it down. So for example, let's say that we have A, and then B, and then C. So what's actually happening, same as I have above, if A is 4, it's 4, and then here we have 4 times A. Okay, this is A. A times 10 it being B, times B, and 3 being C, times C. So what we're trying to do is we're actually trying to break it down into kind of its easier components, numbers that are easier to work with. No one really likes to do 4 times 13 in their head, but what is a lot easier is actually doing 4 times 10, and then 4 times 3, and then adding them together. So we're actually just trying to simplify things a little bit, and we're trying to break it down into its easier components to use. So I'm just going to flip this over and try to give you an example of how we would use this in class, and then I've got some examples on the other board. But I'm going to show you first here. So if we were to have something times two numbers that are actually in the bracket, how we're actually going to distribute it. Because just a reminder, when we have brackets, it actually means what we have on the outside multiplies to everything that's on the inside. So let's make it easy. 2, and then let's say n plus 2. All right. So this 2 actually multiplies into both of the numbers. Okay, well, here we have a variable, and then here we have a number. So 2 times n, well, that means we have 2n. Okay, whenever you have something multiplied by the variable, you have that many variables. Okay, plus, because that's not changing, 2 times 2, which gives us 4. So now we have an expression. Okay, an expression, just as a reminder, is something that doesn't have an equal sign. Okay, so we're not actually going to solve any of these questions. All we're going to do is come up with what the expression is. So just a reminder, what you have has to multiply to both things inside the bracket. And because we don't know what n is, we're creating an expression for what the answer could possibly be. So let's say if n equals 1, we would say 2 times 1 plus 2 equals 4. Let's see if that would work up here. Or sorry, that would give us 6. If n equals 1, we would get 6. If n equals 1 here, we would 2 times 1 plus 3. Order of operation says that we have to do the brackets first. So 1 plus 2 is 3, times 2 is 6. So we end up getting the same thing. Let's try it with if we were to say that our variable was equal to 3. Okay, 2 times 3 is 6, plus 4 is 10. Okay, 3 plus 2 is 5, times 2 is 10. So it works out the same way. We get the same answer with each of them. Okay, so all that we're actually trying to do is we're trying to get to this bottom line here, this one. We're trying to take the top one and we're trying to find out what the bottom is going to be. Okay, so just a reminder, say it one more time. What you have on the outside multiplies to both of those numbers. Okay, whatever you have multiplied by the variable becomes the variable. So I've got some examples here. Okay, if you want to pause the video, you can just try to answer these quickly. And then once you hit play, I'm just going to go through the answers here. So we have 7c plus 2. So I've got 7 times c plus 7 times 2 is 14. So that's what I should have as my answer. All right. In this example, we actually have a negative. So we have to follow our rules when we're talking about integers. So we have to make sure that we keep the proper sign. So negative 3 times x gives me negative 3x and then I've got negative 3 times positive 5, which is going to give me negative 15. Okay, so negative 3x minus 15. In this last one, I have 6 times x, so 6x, and now I have a negative. 3 times negative, or 6, or negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. All right, so those are your answers for those ones. For more practice, you're going to do the Google form. You're going to make sure you do your Math Makes Sense. Submit your Google form, put your Math Makes Sense answers in the Google assignment. If you have any questions, you can contact me through Zoom, through Hangouts, whatever way that you need. Good luck.